should I feel guilty for being upset that it's summertime and my kids are out of school?
Dude, I don't get it. All right, I'm Australian. The way that you do school in this country makes no sense to me. It is so hard for parents.
She's used to year-round school.
Well, we'll
do
talk about
year-round
what that
school.
is so people know. This is another being with their own set of what they're going to do in the world. Their own map.
Absolutely. They turn up with their stuff. I learned that from Bri. They turn up with their stuff.
This is the last time they're ever going to be this age, this day, this moment. You never know when you're going to have that moment again, if ever. That hug that you get might be the last hug like that.
You know, you're loving and you're kind with who they are, and you try and help them become the best version of who they are, or you fight against it and you just create this toxic relationship.
I think that's the whole sort of secret key to parenthood.
Oldish, the show where age-old questions meet new-age answers. With your hosts, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
Welcome to Oldish. We actually got it. We actually all said it at the same time. That gives
it
me,
only took a couple tries.
That gives me PTSD though, because when we would do Good Morning America as a cast on Dancing with the Stars, they always try and get you to go, Good Morning, America,
all together.
And it's horrendous every single time. It's absolutely awful. Whether it was two people or like the whole 20-something cast, it was so bad.
We had to do that. We had to do that when I did Dancing with the Stars, and it was 5:00 in the morning at Disneyland. I
You
was
were
like,
JoJo
"Are
and
you
everyone."
crazy? Like I'm not going to be able to time any of this out. No,
Yeah.
I'm barely here.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy mornings with that stuff. So cool though.
Early.
Crazy morning. How are summertime mornings going for you two?
About crazy? That seems like a pretty good explanation for it.
Summertime is tough. I mean, summertime is like I feel like we're constantly trying to come up with things
to do. More summer camps, more like
that we can all do together. Like, oh, let's go camping, or let's go to the movies, or let's go. We're always trying to find those activities, because otherwise they just kind of, all the kids sit in their own spaces.
Yeah.
And they kind of get lost in their own stuff. So it's like, have as many friends over as we can and have pool parties and barbecue and do the stuff to make sure everybody's together. So it's kind of what they have at school.
We do tend to have people over a lot, or sleepovers at our house. We collectively as parents, along with Megan, had the sleepovers chat. You know, we're getting to an age with our kids where, I don't know, you don't know what content they're watching at other people's houses. There's so many things to be worried about that you can't control. They're at a very impressionable age. So we tend to host them at our house very often.
Yeah, I want them at our house.
It's very full, and we feel safer with that. We have more control that way, but it's very full. But I will tell you now that it's almost a hack, because when they have friends over, they're less likely to be, I'm bored. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Leave you
What are you
alone.
going? Can I eat that? Can I have an ice cream? Can I have
the kids are all
my
running
games?
around and playing and doing stuff.
They're
and it's
doing
like, man,
stuff.
oh, we get to sit and have a con. This is amazing.
It's actually more relaxing to have double the amount of kids in our house than
How
it
many
is to have none of them.
boards? Remember the drinking game where I remember for the Bob Newhart show, every
Where
time
you
they
have to
would say
drink every
Bob,
time
you have
says-
to drink.
Yeah.
There should be some sort of household game where when someone says I'm bored, something happens.
I would be drunk on a regular basis.
Before like 10 a.m.
Yeah,
you know what I
totally.
mean?
Is there a lot of I'm bored?
No, sometimes. Summer, yes, because like it's just such a long period of time. That, like Bryce said, we're trying to fill with all different things, but how much can you really fill it with? We do summer camps for sure. We do all the things we just said, but there is a lot more time at home, and sometimes we're working and we aren't able to do all the entertaining, and so they do get a little bit bored. But boredom is a good thing too.
It is a good thing.
Remembering, okay, and I say to them, like, okay, you're bored. What can you do about it?
Right.
Find something, paint something, read something, kick a ball, climb a tree, like figure it out.
Someone said something to me, a friend who's also a parent. She said, I love this definition of boredom. Someone would say, oh, you're just on the verge of finding something really exciting that you haven't found yet.
Oh, that's cute.
And I was like, oh. And the other day, my oldest daughter, I told you we don't watch a lot of movies or TV with them. And she went to a sleepover and she saw Mean Girls and some other things, but I think they got through 15 minutes of it. She wanted to watch the rest. And so she was asking us, can we watch it? Can we watch it? And we said no. And she was upset by that. And then she disappeared and we didn't know where she went. And we heard her in the basement, I'm down here. And I walked down. I'll show you the picture later. And she created on a chalkboard that we have down there a beautiful, masterpiece with this colored chalk of this scene where it's a dock and there's ripples in the water and there are these mountains with bridges and an island. And she asked me, I said, this is so beautiful. And she asked me, what do you think I should have here? And I said, we could look up a picture. And she said, no, this is all from my imagination. And I want to create it from my imagination. And as I watched her working this way, I thought, I'm so thankful that we said no to the movie because look what she got to do. Not that movies are bad, and I'm sure we'll say yes.
But it was an opportunity, like you say.
We noticed that when we were doing like a digital detox, that all of a sudden the kids started really getting into when they didn't have devices, anything else to distract them. Journey got really into reading.
Clay making,
drawing color. He draws comic books.
Yeah,
so he'll draw them on these things.
Really?
He'll draw them on these things, and then you send them in, and they put them together and make an actual comic book.
It's
and then he
very
just
cute.
is waiting by the mailbox every day. He's like, I'm going to go check the mail. It's like, okay, we only mailed it yesterday, but okay.
Takes a good
You do your
6
thing.
to 7 weeks for it to come back.
Yeah.
That's
to
the
you.
Amazon syndrome.
Totally.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Journey is like that. Like not to
Yeah.
get off track. I love him so much. We call him our little dragon. He loves his treasures.
Yeah.
And he has pocket money, right? Because they do chores and they do things, and so he'll buy stuff on Amazon sometimes. He'll know what he wants. He'll sit there with one of us and he'll buy things with his own money.
Yeah.
But then immediately an hour later, has it arrived? Like,
Yeah.
and he just
Right.
wants
When is
all
it
of his
supposed to be
treasures.
coming?
He's a dragon that sits in his den with all of his treasures and gold. He's so funny.
But-
Gifts is definitely his love language.
But it was amazing with the detox. Same thing. Like when they didn't have the option of sitting on playing video games or watching television, and forcing them to use their imaginations. It's beautiful to see because you realize, like, oh God, it is. Sometimes you worry, like, God, is it in there still? Like, or has that gone away? Like that, and that just sometimes comes with age. Like, people stop using their imaginations in the same way. To see any of the kids, it's so just joyous to see. It's amazing.
Very cool. And they also have, I think, Zane has brought a lot of play out in them too. And I see them playing with Zane in the games and the things that they've taught him. And sometimes I'm like, no, don't teach him that. But like, he's going to learn that, whether it is chasing and pushing, it's the rough and tumble. But I've also read how important roughhousing is for boys and, and for their growing. But
he has a thing now where he squeals
like Journey.
And it's just like Journey
Like
does.
so
It's
loud
the
that only
cutest thing
dolphins
ever.
can hear it. Like it is unreal.
Yeah, it's a
The
crazy
pitch that
high
he
pitched
gets to.
thing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's crazy, but
But he does it. He's all like playful and he's running around. He's squealing, and it's like, oh man, this is
It's like
such
Mariah
a great
Carey,
little,
but like
unit.
times 100.
Yeah,
9 octaves.
Yeah,
up.
It's that
actually, he
crazy
woke us
high
up with
sound.
that this morning.
Yeah.
It was like we were already awake, but the nanet's on, right?
It's like
and
the
so
rooster, right?
Yeah, the rooster. The rooster's a little more mellow.
He's our new
than
rooster.
Zane, I'm not gonna lie.
Zane's our new rooster.
Oh my God, is he
Except
ever?
he's not up as early.
We're so lucky. He pretty much sleeps from 8 to 8.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I know. And
That's
I
luxurious.
feel bad
Insane.
saying it to friends that have babies because you can see the fuck you in their
can see
eyes.
There is a,
Yeah,
there is a
like-
true fuck you
Yeah.
when they're getting like 2 hours sleep in segments.
I know
and
people
they're
that
like,
have 3-year-olds
how
that haven't
nice.
slept through the night.
right. They're like, oh, how nice for you.
I love that for you.
Right.
And Zane's been sleeping through the night for a year and change. I mean,
Since he was like 7 months old.
Yeah, he's never really had an issue.
Yeah.
Once we started like really sleep training and doing that, and we did that ourselves, then it like really changed. Before that, I remember for a while he was going through a period where he would wake up every couple hours, and it was like
because we didn't really train him, right? So we were just giving into the like, oh, he's awake, bring him a bottle and whatever. And then we decided no more of this. And so the course that we used was Taking Care of Babies, CARA, Taking Care, because I think her name is Cara. Anyway, amazing course. I watched all the videos. It has its system. It's very gentle. It's like a little bit cried out, but also love and support, checking in on them in the intervals. Within, what was it, 2 nights?
2 nights.
2 nights. And he has now slept through ever since.
I'm glad to know that there is a system, because I think people are all over the map with this, of the cry it out method, and, is it good? Is it bad? I'm sure you can see things on both ends. I remember when our oldest daughter it must have been 5.5 months, something around then. And she was crying all the time. She had colic and I think digestive issues. And I mean, she cried all the time. And, we'd sit on the yoga ball and bounce, and my back would be hurting. And I remember one night, it was like 2 hours of that in the middle of the night. And I went back and I said to my wife, this is insane.
What do we do?
I'm going to lose my mind. And she said, I think we have to do the cry it out method. And she spearheaded that. But I will tell you, for parents out there, you're not alone in this. When she was crying and I was trying to just stay in our room, every trauma, wound, piece of me was on fire.
Yep.
I wanted to scream. I think that was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to go through, of hearing her cry and not going to her.
Yeah.
It's very unnatural.
So when you did it, was it like just for an extended period of time, you would just let her cry, no check-ins?
I don't know if this is the right way, but it was sort of like, if she goes past 30 minutes, or if they go past 30 to 40 minutes, then go in, or something like that.
Oh my God. I would have died. I couldn't have done that.
Remember, this was also 12 years ago,
totally.
So maybe there wasn't the same information, or we didn't come across it. But it was about then we let it go a little bit longer, because she also, she would put in more time, meaning like she would be very strong and
she would
extreme.
test you and see how much she could do before you'd break.
It was like 50 minutes. And I remember I was at that time, and I was like, I can't. We have to go in there. And we were fighting. I mean, I was just so uncomfortable. And then at like 55 minutes, I heard a little bit of the break in the cry. And then she stopped. And then she slept for 6 hours. And then the next night she cried for 20 minutes and then slept. And the best thing about it was, the next day she actually had more energy, because she was crying anyway because of the colic. So she actually got better sleep in the 2 nights. And then after the 2 nights, she slept through the night.
Wow.
One of the best things that we tried too was not waiting until he was asleep to put him in the crib.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
That's a big thing.
It's a thing of like, you sit with him and you cuddle and you do those things. And then when you can tell he's really starting to get drowsy, then you put him in. So in putting himself to sleep, for some reason, kids sleep way better when they do.
It's that thing of they fall asleep in your arms. So when they wake up, because they do wake up throughout the night and you're not there, it's that loss of where are you? So they're afraid that you've left them. And so this course that we did was, first of all, put the baby down awake. If they're fallen asleep in your arms, wake them up a little bit so they are awake to go into the crib.
Counterintuitive.
You have the next thing is say the same thing to them every time so they know the repetition. And I came up with what I would say. Bri has his, but it's along the lines of being loved and safe. And we're right here. We're never going to leave you, right? Put them in the crib. They cry. Let them get to 5 minutes. Go in. Spend 30 seconds. Don't take them out of the crib. Go over and say, I love you, you're safe, Mommy and Daddy are here, we're never going anywhere.
Just say the same things.
Say what you reassure, and then close the door and go back out. Then they say go to 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, and at every 15 minutes you go in and you say exactly the same thing to reassure them that they're not alone and you're right there, you'll always be there, but they're okay. He got to barely
7 minutes.
7 minutes. I couldn't hit, like, I did 5, I was like 5, 7, 10. Can't go straight to the 10 minute. Like,
Right.
but he didn't even make it to the 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I can count on one hand the amount of times that we had to go in and say this to him again beyond those first 2 nights.
Yeah.
And I still, what's so beautiful about this is I still say to him my little speech that I have. I say, you are loved, you are safe, you are where you're meant to be. You are everything this family needs. You are, and you are enough exactly as you are. And so then I tell him I love him and I put him in the crib. And I notice now that sometimes when I'm snuggling him and I go to put him in the crib, if I've been distracted and haven't said it, he'll hold on to me. And he'll you'll feel his little hands like pull up around my neck and nuzzle in, and he's waiting for me to say it to him.
Until she says this.
And when I say it, he relaxes, he releases, and sometimes he even points to his crib. He's ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's beautiful.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep training is
That's a whole beast, man.
It's so
And
difficult.
Who knows what we did probably wouldn't work for someone else. You know, colicky, he wasn't colicky. So we didn't come up against other
different
things that
for
make it even
every
harder.
kid.
I don't know. I know there's definitely ways, and then there's maybe better ways or whatever, but every baby is different, right? I can't imagine.
Every baby's different. I was so idealistic before I had children of a way that I wanted to do things, and read so many books and had it all planned out and mapped out, right? Like everything natural. And then you're in it and you're like, oh, we need to move to a bottle, and that bottle is going to be in plastic, and I don't like plastic, but that's just what it is. And then diapers, we're going to do the reusable. Yeah. And then it was like,
nope.
It's a whole lot of laundry, and we're just, keeping
It's a lot.
And they don't hold, like it became a thing for us of like, okay, we need a nighttime diaper that'll last the whole night. So he's not
we need to get
himself
nighttime
up,
diapers.
peeing through a diaper. So you have some plan in your mind of how you're going to do it. And then the situation just sort of narrates itself. I remember my manager, her husband, Steve, he's always been just very health food oriented, very physically fit, like all about that. And so when the kids were born, he was all about, I want them to eat a certain way, and I want them to like really be into I want them to try everything, and nothing that's processed And by the end of it, he was like, if I could get chicken nuggets in them, then I'm getting chicken nuggets in them, because at least it's better than them eating nothing.
Our 8-year-old, I've resorted to, because he has food sensitivities to texture sensitivities. Like, it's not just, I don't want to eat vegetables. It's like he literally cries and will want to throw up when they go in his mouth.
Reflex,
and I know it's a psychological thing. We'll get through it. But I've resorted to, it's fine as long as he's got food in him. But I've found a shake that has a lot of nutritional value in it for picky eaters. But in that shake, to get him to eat it, I will add ice cream. Do you know what I mean?
Or cocoa powder and things like that.
We'll do the ice cream if I can get these vitamins and minerals into you. And so, obviously the vitamin gummies and stuff in the morning, which he loves, because he's like, I'll take 3 of these and 3 of those. Get it in any way you can.
You have to go with the flow sometimes.
Oh my God. Parts of least resistance, dude.
Sometimes.
You have to.
I mean, because it's taking them into consideration, then it's taking you into consideration, and how, your sanity and what you can and can't do, but also the fact that sometimes you just have to give up the lens in which you look through. And even though you might value something so much, this is another being with their own set of what they're going to do in the world.
Absolutely.
Their own map.
They turn up with their stuff.
Yeah.
All you can do is guide them. I learned that from Bri. They turn up with their stuff.
Right.
They turn up exactly who they are.
Yeah.
So you either you're loving and you're kind with who they are, and you try and help them become the best version of who they are, or you fight against it and you just create this toxic relationship with each of them.
Yeah.
No.
'Cause it's different with every single one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're all so different.
So different.
So summertime.
Back to summertime.
Back to summertime, because, we're in it right now. And I think for so many parents, there is this like, should I feel guilty for being upset that it's summertime and my kids are out of school?
Dude, I don't get it. All right, I'm Australian. The way that you do school in this country, now, because I am here, I am a citizen, makes no sense to me. It is so hard for parents.
She's used to year-round school.
Well, we'll
do
talk about
year-round
what that
school.
is so people know.
Okay, so in Australia, the school year starts in January and it finishes in December, first of all. So it's not confusing for me.
School year,
Like, what do you
which
mean you
makes
change
sense. It's a
grades
year.
in September?
It's for the year. Right.
It's wild.
The
Right.
school year starts when the year starts.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
first
it's
of all,
done when
there's
the year's
that.
done.
Right.
We have 4 terms. We call them terms, 4 semesters, if you will. The first break is around Easter. It's 2 weeks. There's a summer break, which is around 2 weeks. That's our middle of the year. There is a spring break, which is near the end of the year for us, which is another 2 weeks. And then over Christmas, we get 6 weeks. So within that,
So
you
you've
have
gotta
like
remember-
8 to 10 weeks of school. We don't ever have a 14-week break. What? Parents have to work.
I know
man.
I know that was confusing to listen to. Also, you've got to remember that things are reversed in Australia. So for us, wintertime is like it's snowing. For them, wintertime, it's like, hey, Christmas
yeah.
and a pool party.
Christmas, yeah.
And we barbecue.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
So we have the 2 week breaks,
I'm
3
with
2 week
you.
breaks and 1 6 week break.
Yeah.
3 2-week breaks and 1 6-week break.
over
I am
Christmas.
100% with you.
Makes sense.
There are many things. Look, as a kid, I was like, ooh, summer, we get 3 months off. But coming back from summer,
Oh, it's brutal.
was
Your brain doesn't want to
awful.
kick back in.
No, of
we have it
course
with
not.
our kids too. Like, we'll continue tutoring because we've found it's been so helpful for our kids. But also in just this summer break coming up, I don't want to stop it. Maybe we get in this summer break that we're in, we don't want to stop it. We want it to continue. We want
Right.
to continue their brains growing and learning, because I can't imagine coming back after 14 weeks of just doing whatever you want
No,
and
like
then
math.
being like, oh, remember your times tables.
Right. Math, for instance, right? Because I think that's a big one over the summer, because if you don't use it, you can lose
You
a lot
forget
of it.
Yeah.
14 weeks, language, all of that, it's just too long. And then you're spending the first 2 months of school reviewing to try and just get
Remembering.
the kids back
Right.
online
Yeah.
to get into a rhythm. And then, you have Christmas break, and then
We have a tutor now that we've had for a few months, and she's great. She works with the 3 kids that are in school, and so much of it is about them feeling confident
yeah.
and knowing
Absolutely.
things. Noah used to have a thing, just didn't feel smart. Like, couldn't process
Crippling
the
anxiety
things.
about being
But
wrong in
it's like,
front of people.
Yeah, it's not about that you're smart or not. It's you don't fully understand how to do this. And then as soon as Noah understood how to do it, then first one in front of the class,
right.
Grades absolutely
finishing tests
skyrocketed.
before everyone else.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I find gets missed most. I mean, there's all these different, learning things that people are being diagnosed with that
Sure.
you could find, right, on a whole spectrum. But it's the mental component of confidence, of feeling like, because the story that so many kids have when they see their peers and someone might be really good at math and they're not getting it, the problem is then they make up a story. I'm not smart. I'm not good. I'm terrible at math.
And
let's say.
then
And
they just slip further and further behind.
Further and further, and then
Because
it doesn't
Noah was
get
like, well, I
noticed.
don't understand this. And then they would move on. And then it was, oh man, now I'm 5 things behind. Like,
Right.
I don't understand any of these processes that get to what the class is working on now.
Right.
So then it becomes there's zero confidence. There's zero self-confidence in any of it.
It's so funny though, like going back to like learning and math, I'm over there, let's do times tables, let's practice them with the kids. Meanwhile, I've got to have the damn sheet
Right,
to
I
know
know.
what 7 times 9 is,
I have
because I've forgotten.
to relearn
man.
a lot of this stuff
Yeah.
because I haven't used it in so
Oh
long.
my Lord,
the
long
decimals,
division.
fractions,
Long division.
Forget it.
Shoot me. What?
Yeah,
That's
the
like, what do
process.
you mean? I didn't even not even recognize the picture of it. I was
Right.
like, I don't think I learned
Well, and
this.
they do math differently now.
Yeah, it's
than
different.
when we were growing up. I don't know if you had the same in Australia, but
Yeah.
it's different.
It's definitely different. Well, at least I'm going with that because I did
Right,
not recognize
right.
a single thing of
Oh
it.
no, my daughter, 13 and 12, they bring home math, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this. I have to look this up.
You'll be okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's the brilliance of having a tutor.
Yeah.
It's like, this woman Lori is just fantastic with them, and things that she's not great at, like she'll brush up on, and then she'll give them good concepts and ways of getting through things. And it has made such a night and day difference for them.
You know where I get, like, I relate to Noah in this sense? It's like that crippling anxiety of being wrong. Game nights. So we've been to game nights, right? Adult, grown-up game nights. And I love them. We remember the game night conversation. I wanted to do it at our own Christmas party, and I got nervous about getting everyone to do it. So we've gone to game nights. And speaking of math, right, there is this game Mafia, and we all play it, how big the group is. And in a nutshell, there's all the townspeople. Everyone puts their head down. There's a mayor that sees everybody, and there's 4 mafia, or there's a certain amount of mafia. They get up and they kill people off while it's nighttime and everyone's heads are down. Process of elimination. You're trying to find out who the mafia are.
You never know who is who.
So
the mafia are trying to kill everybody else off because they can open their eyes at night and see who they are and try and figure out who they want to off next.
Yeah.
And then it's all the townspeople's job to figure out who the mafia are and try and get rid of them first.
And they're discussing across the room, and I think it's this and I think it's you, but they're all doing math, right? Like, no, but you didn't vote for that person to be sent out of the town. You didn't put them on trial, so why would you not? And it is a different version of math, like process of elimination. And I'm so afraid of being wrong that I literally just sit there and say nothing.
And then everyone's like, you guys are so good at this game. It's like, I literally didn't say anything.
By default,
I lasted to the end of the game because I just shut up.
It was him and I against each other.
It was the first time we had ever played, and the 2 of us made it all the way through to the very end.
25
Maybe
people
that's
in the room.
Strategy.
Right.
I don't know.
Just
say
not
less.
have any idea what you're doing.
Less.
Hey, listen, sometimes in life, say less. I know in sales, one of the things they talk about is don't talk so much. Actually pull back, let someone else talk, let them answer questions, because when they do, they'll talk themselves into something versus when you say more, you're like, this person's just selling me something.
Yeah, it's true. I'm such a culprit of saying too much. I will also, in conversations with Bryce, sometimes say the same thing but 3 different ways, and I know he's like, "Yes, baby. Yes, baby." I understand. I need to take on the say less motto.
Why do you say it in 3 different ways?
I don't know, because I think I don't feel satisfied with how I've said it. Like, I haven't fully got my point across. I'm this person that wants you to fully experience everything that I'm experiencing, right? For example, the coffee grinds at my house when we first started dating, and I it's the dumbest example, but I overground them for the espresso
machine. It's not the dumbest example.
I overground them for this little espresso machine, right? The one that you put on the stove.
What do you mean you overgrind them?
I ground them, then they were too fine.
So espresso,
they were too fine.
Yeah, if you grind it too fine, then the water
it doesn't really work. Anyway,
like
so
mud.
I did it, and the coffee didn't work, and I was like, oh my God, it didn't work, and I stick my finger in it because I then have to feel, and I was like, look, see, and I want him to stick his finger in the coffee grind.
And she's getting it on her finger and showing me, and I was like, you don't have to do that. I can look in there and know, oh yeah, I can tell that it looks like cement. Like, I do not need you to lick it and then like rub it on the wall and then
grind
show me how the texture. Yeah, I don't need all of that.
Putting it on the wall. Look, do you see the graininess?
Look, it's like practically paint.
Yeah.
No, I'm just that person that needs to fully express in all the ways what I'm seeing and feeling, and I want you to have that entire experience with me. I don't get how you could just look at it and get the whole idea.
I don't
but that
get
doesn't
how
make
you
sense
can
to
get
me.
it so easily. Like I haven't given you enough.
Yeah, and physical touch is
I'm
my
like
language.
you.
Yeah,
I think I'm like you, that I really want you to understand and see the whole thing. If you see the whole thing, then that's okay for me.
Yeah. Once I feel like you got it, I'm good. I don't need to say it again. But like, oh my God.
Brian's like, I'm good from the moment you said that.
But I do the same thing though. I think, and it seems like most people do that. Almost over-explain things just to make sure that everybody completely understands what it is you're saying.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
I do that all the time.
Over-explainer. Yeah. You do? I don't think you do.
Not as much as you do.
Well, how dare you?
Let's just turn it into game night.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay. Who's the mafia in these 3 chairs?
So let's see if Sharna doesn't say anything in this game night.
Can I tell you, people were like, oh my God, you're so good at this game, because I literally made it, and I always got Mafia. Like 3 out of the 4 times we played, I was on the Mafia. And
so they hand out cards when it starts. Everybody's head is down, your eyes are closed, and they hand playing cards to you. And based on the playing cards,
you get your roll.
There are 4 black cards. So you're Mafia if you get a black card. if you get just a red number card, you're a townsperson. And then if you get like an ace of diamonds, if you get a king of diamonds, like there are
You have
certain
a role,
cards,
like
so you
a
have
sheriff.
a role then that you play within the town. But nobody else knows who is on the roll except for the moderator, the person that's kind of running the game, that says, okay, heads down, everybody's asleep. Okay, I want my 4 mafia to open your eyes. So everybody's heads are down, their eyes are closed. And then the 4 mafia look up so they can see around the room and they can go, oh, okay. Mafia,
kill this person,
mafia.
kill that person.
And then they all you don't want to make any noise because you don't want to hear everybody else. You don't want everybody else to hear you
Because
awake.
you're sitting fully next to each other too.
So then you're pointing to people to the rest of the mafia that's the person we need to get rid of next.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, heads down, everybody back to sleep. Now the mayor will open their eyes, and then the sheriff will open his eyes, and then the sharpshooter will open his eyes. So you start, and then everybody starts kind of talking to each other during those times. The only people that don't are townspeople.
And if someone thirsts you and says, I think it's Randy, I think you're mafia, I want to put him on trial, someone has to second it, and then you have to stand up and plead your case as to why you're not mafia.
I'm a townsperson.
And then the
I don't know why you're even questioning me right now.
either votes you off or
it's
not.
Really, so it's
good.
it's when you're mafia, it's all about lying. When you're a townsperson, it's great because the truth is, I'm a townsperson.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
I'm going to have to play this. I've never played this
great.
before.
We
It's
should
really
play
fun.
it. Next time you come down, we'll play it. I mean, you can't
Mafia.
play it with just 3 people. We'll have to get a
It
group
needs more
together.
people.
I wish it was short enough for us to play in our bonus segments for our oldish friends and family, because it is so much fun. And it's funny to watch too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you're watching people be deceitful and then be clueless. And then I can do the math when I'm just watching it. I'm like, oh, it makes sense, understanding how people go process of elimination. But when I was in it, I was so stressed. I just said nothing.
After it's your first time playing too,
Yeah,
right?
true. But I looked like I was really good at it.
What's strategy? So
less.
What is your strategy for summer? I want to go back to summer. I want to go back to summer because I'm hearing this conversation all the time. And I think it's what do you do with the kids? You said you have sleepovers.
Summer camps.
Summer camps. You just mentioned something about camping. Are you going camping?
Yeah,
Camping trip.
We're going to go camp with a few other families from school. So all the kids will get together. We'll rent a few RVs.
I was going to say, do you tent camp?
Well, so we're going to take tents,
Glamp.
but my back will not take sleeping in a tent. There's not.
So you're going to rent.
I'll be
an
out
RV
for
for sure.
the other 3 days that we're there. I'll be that guy. So yeah, I need I'm going to be in whatever kind of bed comes in the RV, and then the kids are all going to be out in a tent.
Yeah.
And whatever parents can stand that, God bless them. Go sleep in a tent.
He won't have me because I'll be in Houston working.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah.
You're solo
I
on the
know.
camp trip.
It'll be me.
Solo camping trip.
It'll be me and a bunch of other parents drinking
Whole
our
bunch of kids.
elixir.
I think you're also the only dad going. So it's going to be up to
No.
you to
Again?
get the firewood and do the things. Brian, can you
No,
start a
I'm
fire?
sure-
Brian, can you catch a fish for dinner? Brian, could you imagine?
Can you catch a fish for dinner?
With your bare hands,
Right,
please.
yeah.
We don't have a fishing
I couldn't
rod.
catch a fish with a rod. What are you talking about? Let
we
alone
want to
without
see
a
you
rod.
do this.
Could build the barbecue though, but could not
Could
catch a
build,
fish.
right,
Totally.
Yeah.
I'll build the fire.
Yeah.
I just won't know how to light it very well.
The kids are super excited about that though. I don't know, man. I don't have an answer for what do you do for summer except survive. Honestly,
it's full survival
just
mode.
survival
I
mode.
remember reading somewhere that really put it into perspective, and it was kind of heartbreaking to read. It was as hard as summers seem, when you really break down the math of it, you only get 16
at
of them.
maximum.
At
Right.
maximum.
Then
And
they
then
off doing
never
other
again.
things.
You'll never have a summer break with those kids.
I
again.
think that's the whole sort of secret key to parenthood.
Yeah.
Is the never again.
is realizing that
Yeah.
it's hard right now, but you need to really experience and appreciate this time, because once this time is gone,
It is gone.
Cassius is 22 years old, and I have to hunt him down to even get back to me in text messages. And as much as there are the times where I'm frustrated by it, I think when I was 22, the last
Right.
thing I wanted to do was check in with my parents, and I was out experiencing life and being a man. It was a
Yeah.
whole. So it's hard. It's that realization when they get older of, oh, okay, I wasn't raising. I don't own my child. I was able to raise this child until they're old enough to be on their own.
Yeah.
It's a tough realization.
It's the juggle too, right? Of having to work and continue your life, but also trying to give the kids some sort of experience and make that meaningful. So maybe if there aren't big trips or something, maybe there's just an evening or an afternoon or something that you could take advantage of. Because I remember as a kid, my dad worked a lot. My mom was busy. So they were both, busy parents. But there would just be an afternoon, right, of like the sun, lower in the sky. And like I remember a weeping willow in our backyard and running around and seeing my dad come home or having my mom come out and just knowing that they were there. There was something about that, like, oh, we're together. And it's, at least for me, it's these small moments. It's like I can remember the trip or the trips that we went on.
Of course,
but is it the trip that I remember?
Or the moments?
Or is it the moment
trip.
of eating watermelon, and there was a fire or something funny happened and it was like that was the moment that I remember.
Right.
And I think just finding those moments, because parenting is stressful and summertime can be amazing and it can be stressful. So maybe we can all just like take the pressure off and just find some of those moments that even if you don't have many of them, or even if you find yourself in a moment of frustration, like you said, this is the last time they're ever going to be this age, this day, this moment. And you never know, to be honest. I don't mean to be dark here, but you never know when you're going to have that moment again, if ever. That hug that you get might be the last hug like that, because, they get to an age where they're like, I'm good, Yeah. And the other part is just finding those small moments, because I know just going out with my daughters and like we took a walk the other day and we hadn't done that in a while. And it was literally 4 blocks. I'm not kidding. It was 8 minutes. But there was something about taking that walk, and we were talking about the houses and what kind of house would you want when you grow up and what do you want your life to look like? And that, I'll remember that forever.
And so will they.
Yeah,
That's the crazy part, is that you don't think about that, but when I look back on my childhood, like I absolutely remember those connecting times. And parents don't think that way. Sometimes they kind of get in their own head of like, oh yeah, it was so special to me. But it's like, God, it's that whole quality over quantity argument. It's like, if you don't have all the time in the world, the kids don't need all the time in the world. They just need, when you're there with them, to be there with them. Put your stuff aside. Put your phone down. Take yourself out of your work for a little while and give them 25, 30 minutes, if that's all you can afford that day, of time, quality time, where it's like, okay, it's just us.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? It's when I go with the kids to like Shake Shack, or we'll go to like the Coffee Bean, or we'll do these things, or we'll go for a walk, or we'll go ride bikes, or we do these things. It's amazing how much comes out of those short little periods of time when you're one-on-one, and it's really, you are giving 100% of yourself to your kids.
Maybe that's what it is too with summer break. You feel like there's so much time and you feel like you're going to have to try and create so many moments all day, but maybe it is making a conscious decision to once a day create a moment with your kid, instead of the pressure of it being all the hours they're awake.
All the entertainment of having to keep them entertained.
Take that away and I'm saying this to myself at this time too. You know what? Take an hour and play a board game. Take 8 minutes and go for a walk, but create a moment each day to at least fill theirs and your cup of that that connectedness and feeling like you've seen each other, you've loved on each other, you're with each other, and then
make sure they take the time though too. That is just their own time, where it's like you need to entertain yourself and do something.
Because that's important too for growth.
That's really
Very
important.
much.
I think people make that mistake. They feel like, oh, I've got to be there all day long for their every single need, and it's like that's
as
not,
adults
that's so unhealthy.
in partnership. It's important,
Absolutely.
right? Like taking time for yourself.
I'm learning that in my relationship with Zane too. I want to be so present all the time and do all the things and read all the books and like follow him around. Whereas at the same time, he's also at an age where he can have his own quiet time.
When he's playing in the
and he loves reading a book
by
in his
himself.
tent.
Oh, it's the cutest thing.
And he's always safe. There's always eyes on him. But to take that pressure off myself of every moment has to be epic and connected and big.
Right.
Like it's okay it's more valuable for me to truly take those 20 minutes, read a book with him, have a little snack with him, eat with him, whatever it is. But then it's also really important for him, especially at his age, to be bored, to play with a toy, to figure it out, to pick up a book himself, to look at the pictures. All these things are also very important for his developmental growth.
Yeah.
And I'm taking that away from him if I'm doing it all for him, always turning the page, always feeding him his food, always holding his hand. So I'm trying to learn that at the same time.
I got a lot out of this, so thank you everyone for listening. This is really helpful.
Yeah, thank you for.
We talked about a lot.
Thank you for
of
being
things.
with us and listening. Head on over to oldishpodcast.com if you're not actually watching this at this point, and check it out, because we have fun doing these, and then we do these after the show segments that are tons of fun.
We have a lot of fun
also
there too.
that are really fun to watch and really fun to listen to, and you can only get those by being a member within one of our tier
our
groups.
friends and family. And also for you guys that are listening, we love you so much. Please like and subscribe. It helps us so much, more than you know. The bigger we get, the more followers, the more of you subscribe, the bigger and cooler things we can do and the more guests we can have. So please go ahead and do that. And again, thank you for listening.
And I've said it before, too. If any of you need some extra help, reach out to this man. Reach out to Randy. He is unbelievable. He's at randyspelling.com. You can reach him directly there, or you can find him on Instagram at Randy Spelling. Really just put Randy Spelling into your computer and
you'll
he'll
find
pop
him.
up and he'll take care of everything for you.
I'm blushing here.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you after the show. Bye.